Welcome to Project Msquared, Mentoring Young Mathematicians, funded by the National Science Foundation and under the direction of the NEAG Center for Gifted Education and Talent Development at the University of Connecticut. Project Msquared is a series of advanced curriculum units on geometry and measurement for students in kindergarten, first, and second grades. The units focus on important mathematical ideas recommended by the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics. From this graph, you will notice the amount of emphasis placed on geometry and measurement. In fact, in the primary grades, this content should be the focus of the math curriculum for close to half of the school year. The Project Msquared tasks pose rich investigations to encourage students to think like budding mathematicians. Students of varying ability levels are given opportunities to approach challenging problems in different ways, using multiple strategies. They develop their understanding by thinking deeply about important mathematical concepts with motivational activities that encourage high-level discussions. In this particular Project Msquared unit, students help create a school measurement fair. First graders work on tasks that challenge them to think deeply about the concept of weight. They have opportunities to interact with the problem kinesthetically and physically compare the weights. Then they compare the weights of objects by focusing on the position of the scale rather than using units of measure. This is more challenging since they cannot simply compare numbers such as 2 pounds and 4 pounds. Instead, they need to be able to understand the terms heavier and lighter as they relate to the position of objects on a scale. Here, the teacher begins with a review of how to read a Hanger scale. Students will use this Hanger scale to deepen their understanding of weight. To make the problem richer and more complex, the teacher has them compare a bag full of cotton balls with one pair of scissors. Students approach this problem with varying levels of knowledge and experiences. They often think that the bag with a greater number of objects is the heavier one. Notice how the nature of the environment and characteristics of the discourse support students' engagement with the problem as they work through this misconception.
Could you add to his thinking for me?
Mr. Lane, I'm confused.
You are confused. Why? Explain your confusion.
Because the cotton balls have a line, the scissors only have one. It doesn't matter what the number.
Oh my goodness, wait a minute. Abel, could you raise your hand for that? Don't forget rule number 3. I heard Yashira say she was confused because there were a lot of cotton balls and only one scissor. Abel, could you help us in our thinking?
It doesn't matter what the number, it matters what the weight is.
Oh, so who could restate what Abel just said to me, Maheshwar?
It doesn't matter what the number is, it matters what the weight is.
Thank you. So, if I'm looking at that then, if I used my word heavy, what sentence could I use if I use the word heavy? Adrian.
The scissors are heavier than the cotton ball.
And macaroni switcheroni, Ziamira.
The cotton balls are lighter than the scissors.
Would you kiss your brains? That was so cool. Good thinking. Well, remember
The Project Msquared units provide guidance on how to promote a nurturing environment that fosters high-level discussions about advanced math tasks. Notice how students are comfortable disagreeing with one another, how they focus on each other's ideas, and how the teacher focuses on thinking rather than on focusing exclusively on an answer. Project Msquared explicitly addresses the environment and provides students with speaker and listener roles that respect the evolution of all student ideas.
Could somebody restate what he said for me? Yes, Melvin.
I think it said the squares are heavier than the hearts, and because there's too much squares, and I think the hearts are the lightest, and and they're lighter than the square because I think he said that the hearts are doesn't weighs less and the squares weigh more.
Let's take a look at that thinking that Adrian and Melvin had, huh? Well, do you agree or disagree with what Melvin just said? Maheshwar,
Agree.
why do you agree? Explain.
Because the square is heavier than the hearts, and the hearts is lighter than the square.
I wanted to
The environment is both shaped and supported by the high-level and in-depth discussions of important concepts. The discussions encourage students to make sense of the mathematics, which includes the use of mathematical vocabulary. In this lesson, the teacher uses the word wall interactively to provide students with the proper terminology to express their developing ideas.
remember our words the other day? Mrs. Delaney put them up here so I wouldn't have to write them on the pretty board. Say them for me, please.
Heavier, heavy, heavier, heaviest. Lighter, lightest.
Okay, we're going to use those words as we're working today. And I want to just go back.
She also uses talk moves to facilitate discussions. This helps students work together as a community of learners to make sense of ideas, not just passively receive information from the teacher. The talk moves adopted from Chapin, O'Connor, and Anderson's book Classroom Discussions include repeat and check, add on, agree, disagree, and why, think time, and partner talk. In the first talk move, students are asked to repeat someone else's idea. This encourages them to listen and to make sense of one another's ideas. It also gives others more time to process and engage in thinking about the idea. Notice that the teacher has selected an important idea to repeat: the misconception of comparing weight by the number of objects rather than the heaviness or lightness of the objects. She has uncovered this misconception with many of her students.
And it doesn't matter what the number is, it matters what the weight is.
Oh my gosh, I heard that again. What did she just say? Maheshwar, what did she say?
It doesn't matter what the number is, it matters what the weight is.
I love the way
Going back to the speaker to check if the message was heard as intended gives students the opportunity to clarify their thinking and helps others better understand the ideas. Here, the add-on talk move enriches the conversation with additional student input.
I'm wondering if you could do that. Who could add on to what Amanda's saying? Emily.
I would like to add on to Amanda's thinking because I think she meant the cotton balls are lighter and the scissors are heavy.
Oh, I understand that. Could anybody?
The agree, disagree, and why talk move positions students to make sense of the mathematics for themselves and take on the role of a student mathematician.
Almost. Then let's try. Which one is heavier?
My DS.
How do you know that?
My DS is heavier than the pennies because my DS is going down and the pennies are going up.
Do you agree or disagree?
I agree because Emily's thinking, I think her DS is more heavy than the pennies.
Think time allows students not only to make sense of their thinking, but also time to organize and express their thoughts.
Right? I'm going to hang it by the clip, and where do I put the clip, Amanda?
And the
Where did I put my clip?
and the hanger.
I put it on the hanger, and where in the bag did I put my clip?
Right in the middle.
Oh, thank you. Right in the middle. I like the way you gave wait time for Amanda to do her thinking. Good job, Amanda. And I'm going to do what with the pennies?
Partner talk provides the opportunity for students to try out and get feedback on their ideas from their peers and to prepare for a more refined class discussion. The teacher uses all of the talk moves to nurture students' thinking and move them towards a deeper mathematical understanding. At the end of the lesson, she begins to build off their understanding of direct comparison of the weights of the objects to the concept of transitivity, where three objects are being compared. Since she knows that this is a challenging concept, she uses partner talk to have students work out some of their initial ideas.
I want to know the blocks and the hearts. Can you compare the objects in the circle bag with the objects in the triangle bag? I wonder which is heavier and which is lighter. Do me a favor, turn and talk to your partner. See if you figure it out with your partner.
The high-level discourse provides a foundation for the think deeply questions that are at the heart and soul of each Project M² lesson. These brainstorming sessions are recorded on the board using a talk frame to help students develop their ideas and consider multiple ideas and strategies. As a class, they first think about the question and rephrase it using their own words. Then consider different ideas. After weighing the ideas, they come to a valid math conclusion. Students then complete a Think Deeply question, which addresses a core advanced math concept. After this lesson, students answered a question about transitivity where they indirectly compared the weights of two objects. Thank you for joining us for Project M², Mentoring Young Mathematicians, Advanced Curriculum Units for Primary Students.
It weighs less, yes. This is lighter because it...
To learn more about Project M², visit our website at www.projectm2.org.